Oh my gosh. This episode was wild. Not an intentional pun saying wild because of wild witches, but oh my gosh. I'm gonna try and be a bit more organized with this and, kind of go through the episode linearly, unlike I did last time. But it's gonna be hard because there's so much in this episode, and I already know, I can tell you, I'm gonna miss something. I can already tell you I'm gonna miss something. This episode, 100%, in my opinion, best episode of season 2, hands down. Might even be one of the best episodes in the entire show. It's so good. So before we were going into this, we had a little clip. We knew we were gonna go into the Emperor's mind. Like that was a teaser clip. We knew we were about to go into Belos' mind. And the crew on social media was hyping up this episode a lot. And it is clear why after watching. Oh my goodness. So we open in on the night market, obviously. Some stuff happens, some silly little teeth jokes. Hunter's obviously tracking down some people for the Emperor. And then we see Prim, the shopkeeper, joining a coven. So it's like, again, we're seeing the Emperor's influence on everybody, basically. And, that kind of ties into what's going to happen in today's episode. And then, obviously, when Luz is like, oh, we need answers on the Emperor, she spots Hunter, chases him down, and that's when we see the 3 coven heads, or basically like a little resistance force. So, obviously, at the end of the last episode, we saw that Raine wasn't brainwashed by Terra, and they were working in like a little resistance, most likely with Darius, because we saw the little abomination that kind of looked like his sort of abomination things. So they're in cahoots. Darius and Raine are working together, and it also looks like Eber is there too. That looks like Eberwolf, the person I forgot the name of. So Eberwolf is there too. So all 3 of them have teamed up. I like how you can identify them just by their little things. I love how Raine has their glasses, Eber just has their spooky eyes, and while Darius didn't have any features like outright, we can identify him by his gloves and by his magic. So those 3 have teamed up. That's pretty cool. There's a really nice scene with them later, but we'll talk about that, later. So then obviously we get to the meat of the episode where Hunter confronts Luz and like, hey, I was trying to catch those guys, and they get transported to the Emperor's mind. And this is when stuff goes off the rails. Oh, there's so much in this episode. It's absolutely insane. I was talking about how, in my last video, how Ida's probably my favorite character, and I was like, oh, Hunter's up there too. I really like Hunter, and Amity, of course. But I don't know, dude. Hunter's trying to dethrone Ida. Oh my gosh, Ida's so good. There's a nice, really good scene with Ida right here, where there's like 2 really like back-to-back scenes that are good with Ida and then good with King. This entire episode is just so good. It's so good. Like every single line is like, oh, that hits so hard. It means something so good. A line that I really liked from Ida is, let's see if there's any respectable criminals left in this city. It's so funny because like respectable criminals, like that's not supposed to be respectable, but it's just like, her sort of Ida thing. And then she walks through the crowd with complete confidence while everyone's like, oh, I don't know about this lady. I love that shot of Ida. It's so good because it's like, she doesn't care. She's confident. She knows what she thinks is right. And I think that's so cool. It's like, sure, let's see if there's any respectable criminals, even though she shouldn't be a criminal. She's like she's obviously the face of wild magic. She's the face of like freedom on this planet. And I think that's so good. Oh my gosh, Ida's so good. That one shot of her just walking through the crowd and she's not even making eye contact and she's got her little smile. She couldn't care less about what they think about her. I think that's so cool. And then we get a really nice line from King. He said something like, no one wants to think they've wasted their life following the wrong person, which I thought was another really, really good line. It's like, people who have been so used to something, they're not just going to be like, what? I don't want to believe in this thing that's wrong. It's scary. It's like, what if Belos is actually evil? I've been following somebody evil this whole time. No, it's better just to pretend that he's not. It's better just pretend that doesn't exist. Let's just go along with what he says, or else, bad things will happen to us. There's no way they know better. They don't know better. And obviously, Belos does take advantage of that. So, okay, enough about that. We're back in the Emperor's mind. And I absolutely love like the dynamic between Hunter and Luz in this episode. I've seen a lot of people refer to them as like a sort of sibling sort of bond, and I see it. It's so funny. I love Hunter, dude. He's so good. And he feels like the older brother, and Luz is like the little sister, because I think they're like several years apart. Hunter is 16, and Luz is 14, I think. So they're a couple years apart, which is like whatever. We see that Hunter's like even taller than Luz, so it's like he's got a couple years of age on her. I wonder, Hunter is 16, but what, did he have like a childhood? It's a little weird. This episode makes me question Hunter because obviously Belos created Hunter. He's created many Golden Guards, or Grimwalkers, as they call him. So we don't really know what a Grimwalker is. Belos only mentioned that it was like something like an old friend, but we'll get into that later. Sorry, I'm really bad at, I gotta jump around. It's so difficult not to. Obviously, they're trapped in the Emperor's mind, and we see Hunter being like, listen, the Emperor's a good guy. Even though in the past few episodes, we've seen Hunter, start to doubt the Emperor, start to doubt the Coven system, and all sorts of different things. I think, like, deep down in this episode, he knows, but when he's in front of Luz, he's like, nuh-uh, no, I can't act shaken up around Luz. It's like, I want to make sure I'm confident in what I believe in. So then we see, like, the inner Belos running around. Obviously, it's revealed to be the inner Belos. Then we have the Palsiman, like, soul thing chasing after them, which they think is the inner Belos. And then, like, the young Belos is just something they see as, like, a formation of guilt. And they follow that thing around, go through Belos' memories, see what he's been up to in the past. And it does go kind of crazy. After they get attacked, they fall down into, like, Belos' true mind, which I think is cool, because he had a part of his mind where it's just all the lies, where that's what he wants everyone to believe, but, like, deep down, that's where he keeps all his secrets, because he doesn't tell anybody his secrets. So obviously, it's going to have to be hidden down. Frickin' Belos has hidden these secrets for so many years, and it's super crazy. So as they're, going through Belos' memories, I really, really like what I see from Hunter, where he's in complete denial, because it's hard for him to believe, because he wants to believe what he's doing is right. It's another really good thing where it's like, nobody wants to believe they've been following the wrong person, like what King said. And that line really just stuck with me throughout this episode, because it's exactly what Hunter's feeling too. It's what everyone in the Boiling Isles is feeling, but it is also extremely true with Hunter, especially being the Emperor's right-hand man. And, I love this episode. It's so good. This is such a good Hunter episode. This is literally just like Hunter's season, dude. If season 1 was like the season of Amity, this is the season of Hunter. It's so crazy. So while they're going through the Emperor's mind, we get like some nice shots with Ida, King, and Hootie, working together to make the potion to bring Luce back. And then we get, the 3 resistant soldiers, Raine, Darius, and Eber, where they're working together, trying to figure out how to get past freaking Hootie. I love the scene where it's like, Raine's like, oh, I can get past the bird, the owl, the tube, him. I burst out laughing. That was so funny. I love how, like, no one knows what Hootie is. It's so funny. Hootie is such a funny character, dude. He's, like, actually one of my favorite characters, which is weird. But yeah, the really, really nice scene is when Hootie's talking to Flapjack, and he's like, oh, what? The blonde kid's trapped there too. And you see Darius, like, shove Raine out of the way, and he's like, oh, no, that's my kid, dude. Not really, of course, but, like, obviously we've seen the bond between Darius and Hunter that I really, really like. And that scene was so good, because obviously we know it's Darius, and the second he hears that Hunter is trapped in the Emperor's mind, he's like, what? Oh, no, dude, not Hunter too. It's so good. It's really, really good. And I just love how subtle it is, too. It's like, obviously you can tell that Darius cares about Hunter, especially since he said his predecessor was his mentor. So maybe one of the previous Golden Guard experiments was Darius's mentor, if that's what that means.
I never found out what happened to the previous one. Huh. Why does Darius look so sad here?
I imagine Darius was trained by a previous Golden Guard. So that's pretty cool. And now he's got, like, a relationship with the new Golden Guard, kind of wanting to protect him from whatever Belos is up to. So I think that's just super cool. So Luz and Hunter continue going through the memories, and we see Belos' lies, of course, and we also see another previous Golden Guard where Hunter, I think the Golden Guard also just has Hunter's voice too, which is kind of creepy. But we see that previous Golden Guard helping out Belos with his lies, where he's, manipulating the people into thinking wild witches are attacking him, to wild magic is evil, and helping him convince everybody to get the sigils. It's scary. It's actually, like, really scary how you see, like, this manipulation happen. And then we see, like, the sigil magic. Obviously, it doesn't look like it's been perfected yet, because the people, like, just, they get those veins and they fall over, which doesn't happen nowadays. So I imagine when Hunter said he was trying to protect sigil magic, I don't think that was entirely a lie. But again, Hunter just using that for denial. So this episode is so good for Hunter. It's so good. The ending, oh my gosh, I had chills, and I had to just sit there for a couple minutes, because I was so taken aback that, the amount of just, like, trauma that poor Hunter had to experience. I love this kid, dude. I love this kid. So again, they're running away from the Palsiman soul with the baby Belos, and they come to when we finally see the Collector. Now, I'm going to talk about a little bit about the Collector at the end, but all I want to say right now is, what the heck is up with the Collector, dude? It gives me freaking Bill Cipher and the Core vibes throughout, like Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls and the Core from Amphibia. It's weird how 3 of these shows have like a villain, and then they have like a villain that's a god. The Collector is like very silly. Honestly, it gives me more Bill Cipher vibes than the Core vibes, because he's flying around doing his little thing. He's like, oh, I can't wait to murder everybody. This will be so cool, Belos. Ha ha ha. And it's crazy. I'll talk a bit more about the Collector later. Like, getting the reveal of the god of this world, basically, or, maybe like a devil, I don't know. Something of this world that is similar to a god is pretty crazy, and that's what we get the reveal. And it feels like it was, kind of underwhelming. Like, it feels, not underwhelming, that's not the right word, but it feels like it's just a side part of the episode, because if this episode focuses so hard on Hunter. So in the memories after Hunter gives the key to Belos, he's like, get the frick out of here, and the Collector, continues to taunt Belos and be like, ha ha ha, you have fun creating those things and destroying them. And then that's when we get to hear Belos say, it hurts every time he betrays me. And that's so sad, because it's like, oh, all those other Golden Guards, they have the same feeling that Hunter. It's the cycle, it's the cycle of, you're created, you help the Emperor, you find out what the Emperor's truly up to, you try and stop him, and then the Emperor stops you first. And Hunter is finally, in the cycle where he realizes what the Emperor's doing wrong. And obviously, we've already seen Hunter start to doubt the Emperor. This episode just finally confirms that he's like, I can't anymore. I simply cannot help the Emperor. At the beginning, even if he had his doubts, he was still in service of the Emperor. Now he can't even go back, or else he's dead. So I imagine he's gonna team up with Luz or something. I don't know, this episode ends so well. It's such a good episode. So I just love how we see this cycle of the Golden Guard. It's not entirely clear why Belos keeps remaking the Golden Guard. Maybe to just help him more than anybody else. It's weird because he just betrays him every time. So I don't know why Belos keeps making them. He did say like, oh, the Titan has big plans for you, but now we know that's a lie. So it's like, what's the deal with Hunter? Why is he called a Grimwalker? Well, like, I don't really know what that is. Maybe Hunter is going to be like a vessel for the Collector or something? That was like my only theory that I had, just like randomly coming up in this episode. But anyway, we continue through the episode and we get the big reveal that the inner soul of Belos is actually a bunch of Palsiman souls. All the Palsiman souls that he's been crushing and sucking up, which honestly, I thought there'd be a lot more. He seems to crush a lot of Palsiman, and there's only like, I don't know, I don't want to say a handful, but there's only like enough for a body? I don't know, maybe they're just all compact in there. But it's scary, dude. All the Palsiman are like, oh, run away, get help. It's scary, dude. That body was made up of all the lost Palsiman souls that he's been eating. And it's crazy. It makes me really like how Hunter has bonded with his Palsiman, Flapjack. There's like the little scene where he's like, oh, Flapjack, I'm coming back. I love you. It's adorable. It's so cute. And then like everyone's like, aw, it's so cute, dude. And I love that scene. That scene is so good. Little Flapjack. I love Flapjack. I want to give Flapjack some pets. he's a cute little bird. And I like how Hunter likes him too. It's so nice. It feels like Flapjack is his like one friend or something. All the other Palsimans don't really like get much personality. They're kind of just there. Flapjack is like the main one, right? He like talks to Hunter a lot. Or like we see, Owlbert. We've had a few Owlbert episodes. We see, I think like Lilith's Palsiman, where it looks like nasty. It's like a nasty bird thing, which is funny. And we see like a couple others, like Amity has a cat. Willow has her like bee thing. What did Gus have? I think he had a chameleon. But like Hunter's Palsiman is the main one that has the most screen time, I guess, or like has the closest bond that we've seen in the show with Hunter. Maybe that's just because they're working together. Maybe it's because Flapjack is a bit of a rebellious sort of soul. Or like they didn't want to go with anybody else, but they chose Hunter. So I don't know. I like Flapjack and Hunter. I like the relationship between the two. Anyway, again, I'm sorry. I get sidetracked sometimes. A lot of the times. But then we see when Hunter sort of confronts Belos, saying that, hey, you lied to me. It wasn't wild magic that wiped out our family. It was you. And then Belos is like, oh, well, okay. Die. He just freaking kills him, traps him in the freaking quicksand, which we don't really know how he gets out. He gets sunk into the ground by Belos. He comes back just later because of what Luz's sigils or whatever. I don't know. But then we get this like super good scene where it was really, really good for Belos' character, where, Belos has been seen as for the most part, throughout the entire series, he's been seen as like this wise emperor, but we don't really know what he's up to. He's sort of mysterious, but now we just realize he's just a jerk. He's literally just a jerk. He's so like mean and snooty, and I hate him. I freaking hate him, dude. I think this episode does a really good job of making you hate Belos. I mean, I like him as a villain. He's a really good villain so far. Like, oh my gosh, I love him as a villain. They're writing him really, really well. But a good villain is one that you hate, right? So it's like, oh, you want to punch him in the face. Like, if I had to throw hands with Belos, obviously I'd instantly lose, but I'll get one punch in, like freaking cool Aunt Lilith, boogie down to History Town, you know what I'm saying? Remember when I said I get sidetracked a lot? My bad. So we get the ultimate sort of confrontation where Luz falls to her knees and she's like, no, you're not Philip, you're just Belos. Because it's so hard for her because the main way she's been trying to get home is using Philip's diary. That's the main thing she's been relying on. She's been relying on Philip's past knowledge. And now it's like, oh no, the person I've been getting help from this whole time was Belos. That's such a good twist. It's so good. I think when I first was starting to watch The Owl House, I think when I first learned about Philip, I had like a weird sort of theory. I come up with dumb theories. I was just like, randomly, I was like, what if Philip is Belos? Honestly, I don't have any proof of saying that. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. But I remember just thinking like, what if he is? Just what happens? I saw like his ears and I was like, oh, maybe he isn't, but like maybe he is? I don't know. It was really hard to think about, but I remember thinking just like, oh, what if Philip is Belos? And now like, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. Oh my. This episode's so crazy. So the ending happens, and Luz is like, what the heck is going on? Why are you doing this? And I love the scene where it's like, he warps between Philip and Belos. Oh, that scene is so good. It's so freaking... these poor characters have trauma, dude. They really need some therapy. The last, like, just couple minutes of this episode are so insane. So, we see that Hunter rises up out of the ground, protects Luz, and gives her a chance to escape, just like Luz gave Hunter a chance to escape by like holding out her hand and being like, yo, Hunter, let's go, let's run away from him. And using the walkie-talkie, they get transported back. So thank goodness, like, Luz and King play around with like little fun things all the time, or else they probably wouldn't be able to get back. And oh my gosh, when they get back and we see that panic attack from Hunter, he freaks out. He shuts down. He's like, I can't go back. His whole life was a lie. He doesn't even know what he is. There's been many like plots where it's just like everything you've done was a lie, right? Like everything you have done is a lie. But then Hunter's also like, but that's also involving the person I've dedicated my life to. The person, or my family, like my entire family is a lie. They've all been killed by my uncle, quote unquote. And then he doesn't even know what he is. Hunter's probably not even a human. He's like this weird, or not human, but like witch, human, half witch, whatever they're calling him. We don't know what he is. He's a Grimwalker, but we don't know what that is. Belos just said, yeah, a better version of an old friend. We don't know who that old friend is? We just don't know. That's such a vague answer. We don't really know much about Belos' past and friendships. I don't know. Unless Philip had like a brother or something. That'd be kind of cool if Philip had like a twin brother. It would be like a good sort of, anti-foil for like Ida and Lilith, where there's like Belos and Philip or whatever. I don't know. It's so cool. It's so good. And I love the ending where Hunter is he panics. He freaking panics, runs out. Flapjack chases after him. We don't know if the three, Raine, freaking Darius, and Eber are back out in the bushes. But I don't even know what the next episode is or what it's called or what's going to happen. But I'm really hoping that it's just going to pick right up where it left off. I hope it doesn't just be like, oh, one day later this happens. I hope we'd go right back to where it is, and we see Luz, just finishing explaining what happened in Belos' mind, and then Ida's like, all right, we need to get this kid back. We need to help him. I don't know. Ida's gonna just adopt so many kids. It's funny. She practically has Amity over all the time. She's already your kid. Then we're gonna get Hunter as well. And I really like the fact that Hunter might even just stay with Ida, going forward. Like, I'm wondering, I just had a thought, it's like, oh, very much in the future. Now that Ida is like, oh, she's lonely, obviously she and Raine might get back together, and she does have King, of course. But then they could just be like a really weird family where it'd be like Ida, Raine, Hunter, King, and Luz. And it would also work for like, the whole sort of Luz and Hunter being sort of siblings, because then like Ida also invites him to the Owl House. It's so cool. It feels like the Owl House is just I really like what they do with the Owl House, where it just seems like this sort of safe haven for the main characters and guarded by Hootie. We even have like Hootie increase the security of the house, where he's got like roots that come out of the ground. It's crazy. There's so much in this episode, and I already know I missed quite a bit. It's just so good. And if I talk too long about this episode, it'll go on forever. So I just wanted to talk about some of those theories and just how good this episode is for Hunter. I got chills, everybody. That last scene when Hunter is just freaking out and Ida's like, yo, give him some space, don't crowd them. She like knows what they just experienced, sort of. She knows, she can take a good guess, right? She's taking a good guess. She's trying to protect them, from getting them just emotionally riled up, but poor Hunter. Oh, gosh. I love Hunter's character design, dude. It's so good. I love how he's got, I don't know what the whole missing tooth is about, but I think one of my favorite things are the bags under his eyes. Because whether that's from lack of sleep or what, but he's probably, always working hard. He's probably dedicating his whole life to the Emperor. And he's just doing the best that he can. He even studies, he goes behind the Emperor's back and studies wild magic to help the Emperor. And it's like everything he's done is just to help out Belos. And you just think about it, he's such a good character. And he would make such a powerful ally. Such a powerful ally. It does make me a little sad because I was really curious about what would happen if we got a rematch between Hunter and Amity, because that fight was really cool, but Hunter was obviously completely exhausted. I really wanted to see what would happen between these two if they fought again, but now they're probably not going to, because Hunter's going to join the heroes, which is better overall, but I was still curious to see what would happen. And now it's just it's going to be everyone versus Belos. What are our antagonists now? We have Belos and Terra, and then obviously the other Coven heads, and there's also sort of Kikimora, but whatever, Kiki's not that strong. Compared to Terra, at least. Terra is the second most threatening antagonist right now. It used to be Lilith back in season 1, then it was freaking the Golden Guard, but now he is also. I just like how every single one of the Emperor's right-hand mans, or closest people, closest pawns, are just being ripped away from him by our heroes. It's so funny. And it's just dang, dude, Belos, no one likes you. It's so funny, no one likes Belos. It's so funny, they're all serving Belos, but everyone who serves Belos hates him. All the scouts in the Coven are yo, this sucks, bro. Steve is regretting his decisions. Darius, Eber, and Raine are all teaming up against Belos. That's a third of the Coven heads that are the main Coven heads. Terra's still there, but what the frick does Terra do? I don't know. I really don't know what Terra does. She probably just cares about her garden and calling people Sprout or Sweet Pea. There's just so much in this episode. I'm going to rewatch it several more times, I can already tell you. And I'm probably going to have another follow-up video sort of talking about this after I've more digested my thoughts, so look out for that. Probably should be coming in a few days. I'll talk about this. I might just talk about Hunter in general. I'm thinking I might just talk about Hunter along with this episode. And I need to think about this, everybody. I need to think. I need to sit down, let my thoughts settle, make up some theories, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching. We'll be back soon. Let's hope Hunter can get some therapy. Pray for Hunter, guys. Pray for Hunter.